when money is invested into a bank or borrowed from a bank, interest is earned. If the interest is paid directly into the investor's account and does not add into the account, then that's what we call the simple interest. Hello everyone, my name is Raywane Gare, presenting Junior Certificate Mathematics lesson on the simple interest. Later I'll be joined by a student who will be helping me in the discussion of today's topic. Let us have a look at today's objective before we go further. The objective of this lesson says solving problem involving the simple interest. So we are going to solve the problems involving simple interest. This is the simple interest over several years is calculated by assuming that the sum of money invested or borrowed remains the same over those years and that the percentage rate of the interest remains the same. That is, it doesn't change. We assume that the money invested and the percentage rate remains the same. And we should also note that the simple interest is calculated on the original principle only. Now, let us go on and elaborate more on the simple interest by looking at an example. The example here says, a man invests 5,000 pula in a building society account. The account pays interest at an annual rate of 15% per annum. He will pay the interest directly each year. How much interest will he receive over the next 3 years? So, the leading word here is the interest will be paid directly to this person for each year. So, we are to calculate the interest earned over 3 years. We are to find 15% of 5,000. So, it's 15 over 100 times 5,000. And then this 0 cancels this. This one cancels this 0. And then it's 15 times 50. You can get your calculator and then multiply 15 times 50. So it's just 15 times 50. 15 times 50. And then this gives us 750. So the 15% of 5,000 is 750. This 750 is only for the first year. So the 750 is for the first year. But the question says, how much interest will he receive in the next 3 years? So if this is for 1 year, what will be the interest for 3 years? The interest for 3 years will be 3, which is the number of years, multiplied by the interest for 1 year, which is 750. 750. So it's 3 times 750. Take your calculator and then multiply 3 times 750. What do we get? 3 times 750. It's a 3 times 750. We get 2250. 2250. Now this is the interest for 3 years. So within 3 years, the investor will receive 2,250. This is the question on the simple interest. Now, let us continue and find out what else we can do. When I started, I stated that I'll be joined by Elena here. And my Elena is here with me. Let me hear from her what she has for me.
Good day, everyone. Thank you, sir, for the example you have just discussed. It looked quite simple. But upon reading some books, I realized that there's a formula used when solving simple interest questions. Can you please explain this formula, if there is any, and show how it is used?
You are asking if at all we do have a formula for the simple interest. Then you want me also to use that formula. Of course, we do have a formula for simple interest. And let us find out what the formula says. Let us allow I to be the simple interest. I to be the simple interest. And then a P to be the sum of money, which is the principal. This is the principal, which is the sum of money that you borrow or you invest. And then R to be the rate of interest. Rate of interest. And this rate of interest is in years. rather the rate of interest is in percentage per annum, not in years, but the rate of interest is in percentage per annum. And then the T, that's the one which is the time in years. This is the time in years. So what will the formula for simple interest be? Formula for the simple interest. The formula for the simple interest then will be I for the simple interest equals to P times R, which is the rate of interest, times the time, which is T, divided by 100. This is the formula for the simple interest. And then this simplifies to I equals to P R T over 100. This is the formula for the simple interest. It says I equals to PRT over 100, where P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest in percentage per annum, then T is the time in years. Then we divide the whole thing by 100. We can as well check if at all this was going to work for us, if at all we are working the first question. Remember in the first question, the principal amount was 5,000. The rate of interest 15%, and then the time is 3 years. So let's go back to what we are having there and then work it out. 15%, and then the time, we got the time as 3 years. So this is what we had, PRT. Now let us substitute whatever we are having in the formula for the simple interest. I equals to P R T divided by 100. So this will be, according to what we are having, it will be 5,000. It's 5,000 times the rate, which is 15, times the time, which is 3, and then divide this by 100. 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is just 50 times 15 times 3. It's 50 times 15 times 3. And then what do we get? 2250. So the answer that we are getting here is 2250. This is the same answer that we got when we were working out the first question. So we can see that the question, we can use this formula to find the simple interest. Let us go for a short break. When we come, we'll continue with our lesson. We can still work other examples involving the simple interest formula. Remember, the formula says I is equals to P R T divided by 100. This is the formula for the simple interest. The example that we are having here, which is meant to augment what we started with, says calculate the simple interest when 10,000 pula is invested for 3 years at 5% per annum. Learners, you should identify what your principal is, what your rate of interest is, what the time is. Then that's when you can start substituting. According to the question that we are having here, we can see that our principal amount P is equals to the 10,000 pula. This is the principal amount, it's 10,000 pula. The rate of interest, it's a 5%. And then the time, T, it's 3 years. We now have all these parameters. We've got the principal, the rate of interest, time. Now what we can simply do is to substitute in here. Let us substitute and work out this question. I will be equals to, what is the value of P? The value of P is 10,000. So this will be 10,000 times the rate is 5%, times the time is 3, so it's times 3, divided by 100. So we have managed to substitute for the variables. We now work out to find the solution. 10 here once, here once, here once, and then here once. So we are remaining with 100 times 5 times 3. So the interest will be, it's 100 times 5 times 3. This gives you 100 times 15. 100 times 15. And then this is just multiplying by a power of 10. I don't think you need a calculator to work this out. You can simply work it out. 15 times 100, this is 1500. So the simple interest is 1,500 pula. The interest, that is the interest which will be earned over 3 years at 5% per annum. I think I've answered your question, Teboho. But I believe you still have other questions that you want to ask to help you understand. Even those who are at home, help them understand this topic further.
I have understood. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Can you please work out an example where the time is given in months?
Thank you. Your question is, what if the time is given in months? Yes, we can still work it out. We are saying the time should be given in years. But what if the time is given in months? We can still work it out. Let us have a look at this example. It says Mudiri borrowed 12,000 pula for 8 months at 10% simple interest per annum. Find the simple interest. We should always start by writing the formula for the simple interest. Now, the formula for simple interest is this. R equals to PRT divided by 100. This is the formula that you should always use. PRT divided by 100, where P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest, then T is the time. Now, according to this question, the P is 12,000. Rate of interest is 10%. And then the time is 8 months. So we have to convert this 8 months into years. And then how do we convert the 8 months into years? This is what we should do. This will be the interest, then here will be 12,000. Yes, it's 12,000 times the rate. The rate is 10% times 8 months. We have to convert this 8 months into years. And then how do you convert 8 months into years? This will be times 8 divided by 12. Because there are 12 months in a year. So we have to divide the 8 by 12 to convert that into years. And then let's remember that we are also to divide here by 100. So what should we get now? It's a bit simplified, I believe. This will be 1, 1, 1, 2 here. And then now what are you having? We can also simplify here. 4 here, 2. 4 into 12 is 3. So what we are having is 120. It's 120 times 10 times 2 divided by 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is just 3. And then we can take our calculator, multiply. But before you can multiply, I can see there's a common factor here. There's a 3 here. So 3 here once. 3 into 12, 4. 3 into 12, 4. Now what do we have? We have 4, 0. Let's remember we said 3 into 12 is 4, and then 3 into this 0 is 0 here. So that's a 40 times 10 times 2. It's 40 times 10 times 2. And then 40 times 10. 40 times 10, this is 4, 0, 0 times 2. And then what is 400 times 2? 400 times 2, this will give you 800. The answer is 800. So this has answered your question.
Thank you, sir. I am really enjoying this lesson. From what we have discussed so far, we have been calculating simple interest, but I guess time, principal, or even rate can be calculated. Please give an example of such kind.
You are saying you are understanding, but then in your last question you said, can the principal, rate of interest, or even time not be calculated? They can be calculated. If you are given the simple interest and then any two parameters, you can calculate whatever you asked to calculate for. Let us look at this question and then answer it. The example here says, find the sum of money which should be invested to earn 2,500. Simple interest over 4 years at 10% per annum. Now here, you check whatever you are given. Check what you are given. You are given the simple interest. This simply means your I is given as 2,500. This is what is given. And then check what else is given. You are also given the rate. It's here. So the rate of interest is 10%. So the rate of interest is given as 10%. What else is given? You can see that there is the time in years. It's given as 4. So the time is 4. You now go back to your formula. Write it and then substitute. Then solve for whatever you asked to solve for. The formula says I equals to P R T divided by 100. Now what do we have? Our P, do you have P here? We don't have P. We don't have P. So P will be just like this. Then what about the rate of interest? Rate of interest is given as 10%. So we do have the rate of interest is 10%. So it's 10. And then times T. Our T is what? T is 4. Yes, so it's 4 divided by 100. 4 divided by 100. Now what about the interest? The interest is given as 2,500. So I is also given. Now this side we can have our I as 2,500. This is what is given. 2,500. There is only one parameter that we are to solve for now. The parameter is P, which is the principal amount. So we are to find this principal amount. It's just like an equation. We are now solving for P. So let us solve for P and then find out what P is. How do we solve for P? We can multiply both sides by 100. If we multiply here by 100 and then multiply this side also by 100, multiply here by 100 as well. So this will be 2,500 times 100. It's 2,500 times 1,000. Rather times 2,500. So it's 2,500 times 100, giving you P times 10 times the other 100. Remember this 100 will cancel this. So you've got 4 times the 10, which is 40 times P. This is just 40P. Now divide both sides by 40 because the intent is to solve for P. So you have to divide both sides by 40 to solve for P. Divide this side also by 40. Divide by 40, not by 4 but by 40. The 40 here cancels this 40, so you are remaining with P this side, and then divide by 10, divide by 10. So you have 2,500 times 10. So it's another 0 because you are multiplying 2,500 times 10. Then divide this by 4. Divide by 4. This will give you 40. Rather, it will give you P. Take your calculator, divide 25,000 by 4. Then check what you will get. 6,250. It's equals to P. This simply says to us, the principal amount P is equals to 6,250 pula. 250 pula. This is what you were expected to calculate. 6,250 pula. This is the principal amount that will earn an interest of 2,500 at 10% per annum for 4 years. The principal amount is 6,250. You still want me to go further and solve for either of these parameters. Your question is, can I solve for the time? Of course, like I said when I was solving for the principal, we can also solve for time. Let us have a look at this example and then solve for time. Find the time it takes for a sum of 5,000 pula to produce 400 pula simple interest at 5% per annum. Let us remember that the formula for the simple interest I is given as PRT divided by 100. The principal amount, find the time it takes for a sum of 500 pula. So this is the principal amount to produce 400 pula. This is the interest. We are told a simple interest, so this is the interest. And then the rate, 5%. So we are looking for the time. Let us remember that the time is given in years. So the answer that we are going to get should be in years. Let us substitute. The interest is 400 pula, so our I is 400 pula. It's equals to the principal. The principal amount is 5,000 pula, so it's 5,000. The rate is times 5%, so it's times 5. Time, do you have time? No, so it's times T divided by 100. We have substituted 5,000 times 5 times T divided by 100, giving you the simple interest of 400. Divide now. This is what you will get. So 400, it's equals to 50, this is a 5, is 50 times 5 times T, because you have cancelled out, we have divided by 100. And then what is 50 times 5? 400 will give you 5 times 5 is 25. So this will be 2, 5, and then a 0, T. We are solving for T now. So how do we solve for T? We divide both sides by T. We can divide both sides by T to find, rather by 250 to find the value of T. So let us divide by 250 on both sides. We are dividing by 250 on both sides. Divide here by 250 as well. Now the 250 cancels this 250. So this side we are remaining with T equals to, and then we can divide by 10 here, giving us 40 divided by 25. Get your calculator and then divide. Let us get our calculator and then divide. It's 40 by 25. 40 divided by 25. So our time is 1.6 years. This is the time that we are calculating. The time is 1.6 years. So our T will be equals to 1.6 years. It has to be in years because we stated that the time in the formula I equals to PRT. The time is given in years. We have come to the end of our lesson. But before I go, I want you to always remember that this formula for the simple interest is I equals to PRT divided by 100. That is the formula for the simple interest. If you know it, you are done. Remember that the formula for the simple interest is I equals to PRT divided by 100. If you can manage that to catch that formula, then you are done. We have come to the end of our lesson. I think you have enjoyed this lesson. Till we meet again in the next lesson, thank you.